Welcome back to Elevator Paso, guys. We have ran into Chuck DeBroder once again, and we're going to be speaking to him about what's going on in his life, catching up to him from the last time we had him on the show, and see what advice he has for us. Chuck, how are you, brother?
Hey, I'm doing great, Caleb, and thank you for having me back on Elevate El Paso. Awesome show, and I get to see some guests and learn a lot of things, and that's what life is about. And I get to drink some iced coffee, which
and I appreciate you coming on, brother. So, brother, you're one of those examples to where you don't give up. Your adversity comes, you continue to go, and you thrive no matter what the situation is. What advice do you have for us in regards to keeping that drive?
Well, to keep that drive, you've got to focus on what you do and what you love to do, number one. Number two, I learned from Rosario, my wife, which I talk about a lot, that you got to just do it. You got to take action. You can't think about it. Sometimes you spend too much time writing down a plan and you never get to implementing the plan. Why don't you just kind of do it? Get like this right here. You got a camera, you have a microphone. Maybe at first your microphone's not as good, but you still do it. And then you say, okay, we need to improve the sound a little bit, and you buy a better microphone the next time. You learn by your mistakes by taking action. Most people in life don't do what they want to do.
Yeah.
They think about it, they dream about it, and then they invent things in their subconscious mind, which is fear. And fear is fake reality.
Yeah.
It really, most of the things we fear do not happen unless we fear it all the time, and then we can attract bad things as easily as good things into our life.
So is there any suggestions in regards to modifying your perspective in life?
Well, first you kind of have to analyze you and what you're doing, both positive and negative. And then it's discipline. And it's minor disciplines as easy as making your bed in the morning. Something simple like that. You do that first, and then you can accomplish other things in the day. Simple things as just being a little bit more organized. And maybe not spending money as frivolously, but not worrying about it either. Because if you worry, it's just like worrying about the bad things, the fear.
Right.
If you worry about not having money, you will not have money. You have to worry about nothing. You have to just take action to attract that money, and you have to ask people if they'll support you in what you do.
Right, and one of the best suggestions I've heard in regards to this is daily making a list. Making a list of all those things that you're thankful for, making a list of the different views of what happened during the day. And that way you're able to take a note of what other point of view you could take on those situations and continue to stay positive on things.
Yeah, write a positive gratitude list. Have it with you in your free time. Now, this isn't like a plan per se, but it changes your mental focus.
Yeah.
When you get up in the morning and you take action on something right away, your body forgets that it was just sleep.
Right.
And all of a sudden, you're awake and you're doing things. So with my life, I didn't sit around for very long. And Rosario proved to me that I could still do weather. I could still be supported by local businesses sponsoring my weather graphics. And we have been posting twice a day on all my social media platforms. Go to Chuck DeBroder YouTube, subscribe to the channel. And what's your channel here?
Elevate El Paso.
There we go, Elevate El Paso. And that's the best way. I always tell YouTube first, and then they can go to Instagram and find Chuck DeBroder, WX Chuck, or Facebook and all the other platforms. Well, we post to everyone. And I'm posting in LinkedIn, too. I'm the first ever to post weather in LinkedIn. And somebody in TV told me, oh, Chuck, you're breaking all the rules. Well, who sets the rules?
Exactly.
Nowadays, with technology, you don't need a giant TV antenna. You don't need hundreds of dollars worth of equipment, or millions, actually, back in the day. Right. You need a cell phone.
Yeah.
And you can start with that. I got one of those new S-Move selfie sticks, too. I'm still figuring out how to use it. But some of the cell phones now have more megapixels than our camera that we have. And you shoot on Canon, I shoot on Canon as well. Sony's great. But with cell phones, they can make up for your lack of knowledge and light. That's fun.
So for, let's say, the youth out there, they have big dreams. They sometimes feel intimidated. Would your suggestion be just take action and plan as you go?
First, read up on what you love to do. Learn everything you can. Reading is the key to intelligence. And if you have kids out there, start them reading early and often. And support them. Now, you and I are, still very young, but we like books, right? We like to hold books. Yeah. But if you Kindle or read online, just to stimulate the brain and get those synapses firing, read on what you love, and then figure out what you need to do what you love as a career. Now, at first, you're not going to make a lot of money, but that's fine.
All right.
Eventually, practice makes perfect. And I said this in the last one, practice, persistence, doing that practice, keep acting like you already are there. I acted like I was a television weatherman, and I recorded a weather guy, and I stood in front of my TV, and every night I gave the weather forecast in my living room.
Right.
And eventually people thought, when I auditioned, people were like, hey, Chuck, where are you working now? I said, I give the best forecast in the world in my living room. And they didn't believe me. But it was all through practice. Then, if you're doing what you love, it's not work. And you do it with enthusiasm, energy, and passion. And good things are attracted to you. And eventually you'll make money doing it.
So do you have any tactics or any methods that help you think outside the box and be more innovative?
Well, again, who made the rule, right? So we want to think out of the box. We want to say, okay, here's how everybody's doing this. How could I do the same thing but do it differently? In a different way, with different equipment, a different spot, right now on my daily video weather forecast in the morning and evening, we're not showing radar and satellite, but it's a forecast. It's a forecast, and the most important things are the number. So we're doing things a little bit out of the box. We make it look live, and we do a few things that maybe others haven't thought of, but we're just doing it because we're taking action. Now, some ideas work, or you go back home and you watch it and go, oh, okay, next time I think I'm going to do it this way. But that's how you kind of edge out of the box. And then all of a sudden you find out you're out of the box. You're doing something innovative. And other people take notice when you're doing it. And I have marketing companies, I have TV people, I have people all over the world now on LinkedIn, whatever, following me and making comments like, hey, that's pretty cool. I like this. Yeah. And, find out what people like. If you like it, then you'll find like individuals like it as well. And then talk to people in the field and say, how would you do what you're doing differently?
Yeah.
And write down, say, 3 ways you do it different. And they'll give you a recipe. Just write it down. And then you can do things the way they would do it. And they're an expert in the field and be out of the box.
So a couple of weeks ago, we had David Chang on the program, and he was talking about how that fear of failure is what stops people a lot of times. And it has to become a habit to be able to know that you will fail. Know that no matter what, it's something that you just have to keep reinventing yourself, which goes right in hand with what you're saying right now.
Yeah, I've studied the subconscious. I'm a hypnotist for 15 years. But what you have to do is flip failure. Flip it, okay? So you want to fail.
Yeah.
Because I want to fail. You know why? Because then I learn.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I write down what I learned. Now, if you fail and you don't write it down and you don't analyze what you learned, then that's a failure that is a failure.
Right.
But what you want to do is learn from your mistakes, learn from what you did wrong, and say, okay, the next time I'm going to do it this way. The next time which I love this reflective background.
Yeah.
The next time I'm going to set the camera here, and we're going to have the sky reflection and the great cumulus clouds over there. I'm a weather geek. Right behind us. But each time you learn from your failure.
Yeah.
You know, or sometimes you go to a shoot and the mic doesn't work. Or we went in the McGoffin home, and it was built in the 1800s, and a lot of families lived there. It was like a mansion of the day. But there might be some paranormal activity because Rosario was shooting, and the Canon battery was fully charged, and it wouldn't work.
It's serious.
And we took the camera back home.
Yeah.
And it was fully charged, and it was working. Then she shot it on her iPhone, right? Brand new iPhone. It went completely white on the screen in 2 different rooms.
Is that right?
A little scary. But anyway, so you learn things. Or sometimes you have dignitaries that you want to interview and they're not in the right light.
Right.
And sometimes you just really want to interview them instead of moving them into the right light. You don't do that, and then you end up darker on the face. Well, the next time, we move the people into the right light. You can't do anything about the failures that don't happen when you plan to fail.
Right.
Because sometimes we plan to say, hey, let's just wing this, and it might probably not work.
Yeah.
But sometimes you really want something to work and it doesn't work. Don't beat yourself up. Learn from it and do it again. Just keep doing it, and you fail less.
So from studying the subconscious, what has been one of the things that has been the most surprising about it?
We live most of our lives in our fantasy world, in our subconscious. And we all are perceiving this. You're, Caleb, perceiving this situation differently than everybody out there. And everybody out there knows that we're talking just to them, right?
Right.
But they're perceiving it in a different way because our brains are all wired different. And that's great. That's what makes us have personality. And that's another thing, too. If everybody's the same, it's like chewing on a piece of cardboard. There's no flavor to the person. Embrace your personality, who you are at home when no one's seeing. Be that person in public, and you will attract more positive attention of being yourself.
So one of the things that's been the most surprising to me about this is the fact that what rules most of our decisions and what rules most of our perspective is our self-talk. And a lot of times that's what limits us, and at the same time, that self-talk is what impulses us. How do you modify that self-talk?
Well, I think the only time you should have self-talk is to give yourself encouragement. Give yourself positive encouragement to do things and to take action. Then you just let your brain take over with what you've learned, what you've read, what you know, and you trust yourself. And don't let the doubt self-talk creep in. And I do something like a positive anchor. When I'm really feeling positive, I squeeze my thumb, okay? I picture a positive time when I was victorious in life or in a race. I squeeze my thumb. And this is part of neuro-linguistic programming, Ericksonian hypnosis. But you squeeze your thumb, and you're going to set your body in a positive way. You're going to breathe positive. You're going to visualize positive thoughts, and it fires off the same synapses. Positive always wins over negative. So you have that self-talk, squeeze your thumb, and the negative is squashed. The negative self-talk, the doubt, the fear of failure, all that is squashed.
Awesome. Chuck, it's always super cool talking to you. You always have great advice for us. Before we let you go, any last words or anything you would like to go over? Perhaps where they can get a hold of your channel again?
Oh, yeah. Chuck DeBroder YouTube, WX Chuck on Instagram, Chuck DeBroder Certified Meteorologist on Facebook. We have Chuck DeBroder Twitter, Chuck DeBroder LinkedIn. Follow all those and you'll get daily weather updates. Chuck DeBroder's Weather Pet of the Month. Enter your pets. You can win hundreds of dollars worth of pet prizes.
Wow,
and
cool.
Really cool sponsors we have there. And anything I'm forgetting, Rosario? No? I think we nailed it down.
Gives us a thumbs up.
Hey, and cool. And I want to thank you. And again, remember take action on what you want to do, even if you're not really good at it, you don't think you're good at it.
That's right.
You'll become good at it by doing it over and over again and practice.
Appreciate you, brother.
Hey, thank you, Caleb. Elevate El Paso.